Imagine being diagnosed with cancer. Most people will tell you to focus on rest, your healing, and surround yourself with support. But in the world of Jehovah Witnesses, the expectation is going to be different. You're going to be expected to attend all your meetings, go out in field service, and keep a full spiritual routine despite what your body is going through. Let's get into it. Hey, and welcome back to Same Old Tea. In today's video, I'm going to be picking up with what has become a little bit of a mini series dealing with the apostate video that is being shown at regional conventions this summer of Jehovah Witnesses. And so here's the fourth unspoken, message that I saw in that video. If you've seen the video, you recall that one of the ladies has cancer. And it seems like she's in the thick of treatment. They never kind of let us know if it's terminal or not, but she's in the thick of it, right? And so this is what came to my mind. That was a reminder for current JWs that despite what you're going through, literally fighting for your life, right? With something like cancer, they're going to still expect you to maintain those high spiritual expectations of attending the meetings, participating in the meetings, field service, personal study, all the things. So we're going to start with a little bit of story time. So when I was going to the Kingdom Hall, there was a sister. I did not start attending when she was in the thick of her treatment, but she kind of told me her story. And it basically went like this. She had got diagnosed with breast cancer, had to have, I believe, a double mastectomy plus, chemo and all the additional things. And she would talk about how she would try to, get those treatments in between, make sure it wasn't a meeting day and things like that, because she had to be at the meetings. She couldn't keep up, per se, with her pioneering the full hours as far as going out. But she became like the queen of letter writing, right? And so here it is. This person goes through a double mastectomy, has the additional treatments of chemo. I don't think she had to do radiation, right? If you know anything about chemo, it not only wipes out the cancer cells, but it can, obviously wipe out good, healthy cells as well. So it really does a number on your immune system, right? Your energy and just all the things. So here it is. Instead of really kind of focusing on rest, taking it easy, kind of letting people tend to you, right? She was more concerned and proud of the fact that she did not miss a meeting during that time. Even if sometimes she ended up having to go to the bathroom and, be throwing up or whatever the case may be, or just have to kind of sit in that little powder room, just so proud of that, because she wanted the friends to see, right? Not, be a source of encouragement, and everything. She did obviously go into remission because, she met me years later. But I just remember listening to her story, and I'm like more focused on the fact that she made it, that she was courageous, did all the things the doctor said to do, and was able to go into remission for many, many, many years. The thing that she was most proud of was not missing any meetings. And it's as if that would have been a bad thing. And that is like the underlying thing, the guilt. Like, how many people before COVID would feel guilty because they really didn't feel good, right? Because in the back of your head, you probably would be like, well, I made it to work, but I really don't feel like going to the meetings because I feel like I'm coming down with a cold. I feel like I'm coming down with the flu. And you will go back and forth with yourself because you will feel guilty about missing the meetings. So just imagine when somebody is dealing with something like cancer or some other, serious disability. That's what's at the forefront of their mind. I got to get to the meetings. I got to get to the meetings. And here's another thing that I thought about in relation to that sister story, or just anybody that you know of who is going through something physically. Like I say, in the case of the video, it's cancer. But just whatever that illness or condition may be, it's not just the guilt of I'm not attending the meetings, I'm not going out in field service, I'm not keeping up with my spiritual routine. It's more so because then it gets to be a little bit of mind play on the person that somehow they becoming spiritually weak based on the criteria and expectation of JWs versus listening to your own literal body, and resting when you need to rest. Almost prioritizing showing up at a Kingdom Hall or showing up to meet the group over your own well-being. So this kind of leads me into the next part, and I have my notes for this. So it's the unspoken rule of it all, right? What do I mean by that? So in the JW organization, there's this unspoken message that no excuse is really a good excuse, right? It's no good reason to ever miss your meetings, ever. You might hear things like Jehovah understands, but right after that comes just do what you can. Now I know I've heard that. Just do what you can. Jehovah will bless your effort, right? Jehovah will bless your effort. So what do these people do? They push themselves even when their body says stop. Even when their body say we can't. Even when their body say we need to rest. Even when their body say, let's heal, and it's because if you don't go, if you're not seen, people may not know your whole situation, which is highly unlikely because as we know, JWs love to chit chat about everybody else's circumstances. But let's just give them the benefit of the doubt that they don't know. If they don't see you at the meetings, they instantly think, what's up, right? They instantly go to something negative. You're trying to fade. Did you get in trouble? What's going on? Like, nobody goes to a better case scenario. Maybe this person is sick. Maybe this person is taking care of a sick family member. Just, anything. It's always something negative. So what does this end up resulting in people's mind? If they weak in faith, they're spiritually sick. And on top of being spiritually sick, they physically sick, right? And this also makes me recall, y'all remember the time when they implemented the 15-minute field service situation? I remember when they announced that. And they act like it was the best thing. They was just, they announced it that now those who are infirm or sick or, whatever the case may be, older in age can report field service time in increments of 15 minutes. And everybody just clapped, oh, and it's just like, look at our loving God. He's, so gracious to allow you, dear friends, to report time in 15-minute increments. And I remember sitting there thinking like, this is some BS. Like, these are people who are infirm, who are super up in age, just all the things. And you want them to be laying in the nursing home or in palliative or hospice care, preaching to the CNAs and the nurses and the doctors so they can report time. That ain't no loving provision. That's called BS. But now, knowing what I know now, the reason they wanted them friends to keep, reporting that time, it's a numbers game. Especially, it seemed like outside of the U.S. It's a numbers game. Some of these countries are giving monetary benefit to not-for-profit, religions. Can't tell you which countries or whatever, but it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. And so to continue with the brainwashing, so to speak, right? And also to kind of almost be like, how dare you, 97-year-old sister who is bedbound, how dare you not, turn in time. It's just crazy. It always comes back to it's a mind game. So then think about these poor people who, like I say, are in probably the fight of their life, right? With especially cancer patients, people with disabilities who like to the point where they can't work anymore. Like the U.S. government is sending you a disability check, out of your Social Security benefits because they recognize that your body is, in a condition or a state that being able to work is just not a loving thing, right? But not the JWs. The guilt and emotional toil this can take on a person. It's heavy. So you already dealing with this serious health issue, but yet you're feeling guilty for needing rest. You're feeling guilty for putting yourself first. You're feeling guilty because you're not meeting the expectations of the congregation, right? And instead of being comforted, people are reminding you to stay faithful to the end, right? That's what they'll say. Oh, you don't make it. What would they say? Oh, sister, brother so-and-so, they didn't miss a meeting during that cancer struggle. They wrote letters. They still turned in, 5 hours. Well, they don't count time now. They still were able to check that box, just unbelievable. And it's like in the video, she had made dinner or whatever, and the other couple came over and they all whatever, but then she was like, I'm really, really tired. So they say, okay, hey, go rest. The girlfriend goes in there and everything like that. What was she in there doing? She wasn't in there resting. She didn't go in there and take a nap. She didn't go in there and, watch a little TV. She was in there doing some kind of study, some kind of Bible study, I don't recall off the top of my head, but probably was doing a watchtower. And it's just like, here you are, clearly tired and exhausted from what you're going through, to the point where you can't even really sit up no more and chit chat, but you walk yourself to your bedroom and pull out your watchtower and Bible. It's crazy. It's crazy. It makes me think my father was not a Jehovah Witness, but in his last couple of months of his cancer struggle, the people at his job was calling like, well, do you think you could come in and help us? And, can you do this? My dad ran the tool and equipment room. And so he had to organize, and he was very, very, very good at his job because his background was a machinist. So he knew a lot. It was his thing. And they would call him. And I said, do you want me to call these people and let them know you ain't coming back? You ain't, at least no time soon. So that's a whole nother story. My dad wasn't honest with me fully to the extent of his cancer diagnosis. So he knew that he wasn't going to be returning. Right. And just go to show that they didn't even care. Like, he has cancer. He's on disability right now. So you think he can come in because y'all need him? No, somebody else gonna have to step up. Because if he passed, which he did, somebody else gonna have to step up, right? Anybody who fall out the truth because sister so-and-so who had cancer didn't come to the meetings, they didn't want to be there in the first place. Like, if anybody is watching this video who is going through a health struggle now, and you are pushing yourself to go to the Kingdom Hall and go out in service and do all the things that JW say you're supposed to do, please stop. Please stop. Focus on yourself. It's okay. And going back to the video on that note, now the girlfriend was, talking about going JW viral, which I never heard of. But I think the premise was saying this woman who's going through cancer shouldn't try to build community outside of JW, right? And should not put the focus on her. Why not? She might not have many more days on this earth. Why not have an impact on people, who's going through this struggle, a struggle of cancer, in a different way, outside of this JW bubble? It's crazy to me. It's like when you sit back and really think about it, it really blows your mind, guys. And so if I can recall correctly, I want to say she almost was like, it would maybe kind of be nice to connect with people, to have an outlet, because she might not have wanted to. What I've learned, when people are sick, especially with cancer, it's like they never really want to tell all the whole truth to their family, right? Their closest friends. In my experience, at least with my family, that's basically how most of the people in my family have left here. It has either been cancer or just old age. And so what they might feel, not willing to share, especially if the doctor then told them, or if they feel it that this is terminal, ain't no coming back from it this time, or what have you. Being able to connect with other people, or who have walked in your shoes, it could be comforting, right? It could make you be able to grieve the life that you're about to leave, if you know that, if you're feeling like this is it. I've seen here on YouTube, it's because it's a little emotional, but I haven't been able to follow some of these channels. But sometimes I've seen people where they have been diagnosed with some terminal illness and they decide to start a YouTube channel just as a form of healing and coming to grips and grieving the life, that looks like it's going to, end sooner than they would like, and how that impact touches other people, right? And I remember for lack of a better way of describing, the weaker witness lady saying in the video, like saying that kind of stuff, like this could help other people. They kept saying that, oh, you could go JW viral, but I just feel like that's like gaslighting. That's just gaslighting, and what did the sister going through cancer? Just like, no, I can't let it be anything focused on me. I have to let everything just stay focused on Jehovah, which is bullcrap, because focusing on Jehovah and, this is really just code for focusing on what the government bodies say and do. That's all that really means. And they just using God as this boogeyman, right, to keep people in line. So why am I talking about this? It's because, one, people need to know. People need to know. And when these JWs are going through this, there's no compassion, no grace for real life, right? What would they tell them? Oh, basically keep pushing through this illness here on earth, because you're going to fall asleep and you're going to wake up in paradise. Whereas you have other people who have this support system, non-JWs, right? They'll have a support system. They may even be able to advance some of their life insurance money and create memories with their loved ones. You know what I'm saying? Get their affairs in order, things of that nature, so that they can leave Earth kind of on their terms. JWs are expected to not do that kind of stuff. Don't stop going to the hall to go create memories for your spouse, your siblings, your children, your grandchildren. Don't do that. Leave your spiritual legacy intact. That sounds crazy, right? That sounds crazy. People who are sick, dying, and grieving deserve support, not pressure to perform spiritual routines. That's it. That's it. That's all. And families deserve the space to care for each other without feeling judged or shunned. Speaking of judged or shunned, so do you know how many people I have come across, especially since having this channel, who were either disfellowship as teenagers and now they're in their 50s or 60s, or, you know, faded a million years ago, this, that, and the third. People who come in, share their experience in the comments. These people who, you know, been shunned, judged, not loved, not included in their JW family. Now mama, daddy, granddaddy, auntie is sick and on their last leg. Who is it they're taking care of them? It's the one they've been shunning all this time. I'm telling you, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Unreal. Yeah, y'all. I'm just, like I said, in that video, I feel like there was so many messages. Some of them was directed towards active JW. Some was, targeted towards PMOs. Some were, obviously targeted to people like myself who are no longer Jehovah's Witnesses. I felt like it needed to be discussed and brought to the light. And so in closing, I want to read from my notes. If you've ever been in that situation or watched someone suffer in silence, know that you're not alone and you are not weak. Rest is not failure. Healing is not laziness. Your worth is not measured by hours, attendance, or how many watchtowers you read. Okay? That's kind of all I'm gonna pick apart. Like I say, it was so much in that video directed towards so many different people, right? Groups. But I just wanted to talk about this because this is probably one of the most vulnerable times in a person's life, right? What's the saying? Health is wealth. It's like, yeah, how many times we seen celebrities, what's his name? Steve Jobs. These people who had more money than God, as they will say, right? But they didn't have their health. So the money, although helpful, couldn't do nothing, right? So when you don't have your health, right? When you're trying to restore your health from something like cancer, having the pressures and the demands of your religion, like this ain't even a job. This ain't even how you keep a roof over your head, how you keep food on the table, things of that nature. This is just your religion. And when people are going through things like cancer and other potentially terminal illnesses like that, as a nurse, we those are like some of the questions we would ask them. Do you belong to a faith-based organization? Wow, because we're expecting that organization to come and rally around you, to give you support. Support is not telling sister so-and-so that it's so encouraging when you come to the meetings. That's not support. That's pressure. We didn't get a field service slip from you this month, sister so-and-so. That's pressure. That's not support. Sister, keep up a fine spiritual routine, personal study, family study, blah, 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 blah. That's not support. That's pressure. And so that's why I made this video, because I want anybody who's going through this, anybody whose family has gone through this, and maybe they're not here, I just want you to know I see you. And I recognize that this is foul and it stank to the high heavens. And I'm going to just shut up there because this video ended up being 60 minutes long. But y'all, this will be the end right now. As far as the other little undercover things that I had saw in that apostate video that they are showing this summer at their regional convention is what it's called now. So if you like this video, give us a like. If any of this resonates with you, if you know someone this has happened to, you know someone who's going through it now, we would love to hear about that experience in the comment section. So leave us a comment. If you are not subscribed to the Real One Tribe, come on over here, hit the subscribe button. We have a really good time over here. We discuss things and we get crap up off our chest, and we feel empowered afterwards. And if you think somebody could benefit from this video, please do share it. And until the next time, I'm out. Peace.